This is Legacy Battle. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification button. I'm Michael Adams, creator of Legacy Battle. My panelists tonight from the Gridiron Battle Zone, Brian King, Penn State Collegiate Hockey All-Star, Kevin Adams, and from Steelers Nation South, as always, Rollo Cawthon here. We are joined tonight with a special guest, as always, to debate the greatest University of Maine men's hockey player of all time. And we have an alum of the Black Bears here. He played 3 seasons, put up 79 points, and as a defenseman, that's pretty good. He was on the Hockey East All Rookie team captain, won an NCAA championship there for the Bears, the Black Bears. He played professional hockey for 14 years, then became a coach, even being named the coach of Team Iceland, and he helped lead them to a bronze medal in the World Championships. He's been a captain for 6 different professional teams, so that should tell you the kind of character this guy has here. He's got a Calder Cup as well, so we want to welcome Dave MacIsaac. Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. As always, we'll have our Q&A after our debate, and we're going to jump right into this here tonight. Our honorable mentions, guys who just missed the list: Ben Bishop, Paul Correa. Now, while they may be better than some of the people we're discussing, they weren't there very long, so that kind of knocks them off our list. We were going for a little bit of longevity here tonight, too. So we're going to start with Brian.
Okay, so I got Jean-Yves Roy, or Roy rather, and he was 5'10", 180 pounds. He played 3 seasons for Maine, 89-90, 90-91, and 91-92. Right away as a freshman, he was setting records. He set the Maine record with 46 games played as a freshman. During that season, he scored 39 goals and had 26 assists for a total of 65 points. He was named to the All Hockey East rookie team and was named an All-Conference, a Conference All-American. In his sophomore season, he got even more productive: 37 goals, 45 assists for 82 points. He was named All Hockey East tournament team and was again Conference All-American. In his junior season, he missed a handful of games with injury, but he still managed to score 32 goals, 24 assists for 56 points. Again, he made the all-tournament team and again the all-American team. In each of his 3 seasons, he led Maine to the NCAA tournament and one Frozen Four appearance. He is the all-time leader in goals scored at Maine with 108. He finished with 95 assists, and his 203 points ranks 5th all-time in school history. He also proved how good he was in the clutch by leading Maine to 19 career game-winning goals. So when you account in his 124 career games, that means he sunk the game winner in 15% of the games he played in. Very impressive. So Jean-Yves Roy, he was a leader. He had that clutch factor, and he could light the lamp in bunches.
So, Dave, goal scorers are usually only as good as the playmakers around them, but this guy seemed to get quite a few assists too. But the fact that he has more goals and assists, that tells us what kind of player he was. So, your thoughts on Wall?
Yeah, Jean-Yves was definitely a natural goal scorer. I remember we had face-off plays designed just for him to get the puck in his hands, and he even carried that over to pro, and he scored a lot with in pro as well.
And with the game winners, I mean, obviously you're going to put a goal scorer out there at the end of the game when you need those goals. But you said you had set plays for him. So, I mean, did your coach just know he was clutch, or what was the feeling behind that?
Well, yeah, I think when you score that many goals, and when you get the opportunity and you're the goal scorer, you're the guy, the go-to guy that you set up plays around that. So I remember there's a couple of face-off plays called the Jean-Yves play or something we called it. I remember the play too. He comes around from the wing to the slot area, from the boards to the slot area, and we try and win the puck there.
And you saw him live a lot more than we did. Was a lot of his goals, were they coming from outside, or was he in tipping shots, picking up the garbage? What do you?
Yeah,
think?
there's not a lot of garbage goals. He had a great shot from the slot, inside the house, but not real close like Cal Ingraham would be. He scored all his goals from 3 inches, so it was
Nice. Well, let's move on to our only goaltender tonight, and had to bring on the Red Wings fan for this one. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, Jimmy Howard. And he actually still works for the He's a studio analyst for Detroit still, for Valley Sports. That's cool. So his legacy is continuing. But he played 3 seasons over there at Maine. He led the Black Bears to 2003-2004 Frozen Four championship game. Unfortunately, they did lose. But he was drafted in the second round, 64th overall in the NHL draft. He holds a University of Maine school record for career shutouts at 15, single season shutouts for 6, goals against average and save percentage, single season and career. He was awarded a legislative sentiment by a state representative of Maine in July 2011 for his success both in college and his professional career. So in the 02-03 season, he went 14-6, 3 shutouts, 2.45 goals allowed average, and a .916 save percentage. 03-04 is where he really got the highlights going. He went 14-4-3 with 6 shutouts, a 1.19 goals allowed average with a .956 save percentage. And that GAA held on for 20 years as the NCAA record until 2022. So it was actually like 19 years, but that's pretty impressive. 04-05, he'd go 19-13 at 7. Again, 6 shutouts, still under 2.0 for the goals allowed, and a .924 save percentage. He's Hockey East Association All-Rookie Team and Rookie of the Year in 2003. He is the Hockey East first All-Star team, ACA East second All-American team. He's the Hockey East All-Tournament team, MVP, Goaltender of the Year, All-New England team. He holds a school record, 63 saves in a triple overtime game against UMass in 2004, Hockey East title game. That's impressive. 2011, he was inducted into the University of Maine Sports Hall of Fame. Ainsworth Sports listed him as the number 3 best Maine player of all time. He's the only one on here that we're talking about tonight that still holds an NCAA record, which is that save percentage in a season. He has 3 of the 5 goaltending records in program history for a single season, and he also has 3 career records for a Maine player as well. He's got the stats, great goaltender, still working in hockey today. I definitely think he has a good argument.
Dave, you see any weaknesses in his game when he played?
You know what? I didn't follow the team as closely. I was playing pro by that time, and so I'm not that familiar. I remember him as a pro in Detroit. He was great, but I have a hard time to think that he's better than we had 2 goalies both make the Olympic team out of Maine, and if both of them, if we only had one of them, I guess he would be the only guy then. If we had Mike Dunham and Gar Snow, so
that's right.
I don't know if you could. I guess I'm a little biased about that, but I would think that those guys were just as good.
Well, he does own.
Howard did make a lot of international appearances, including, pretty sure he made it to the Olympics too, but he definitely represented USA quite a few times in the international field.
Okay, yeah, I'm just not as familiar, I guess, with him. He's a little younger than me, so.
And here's a question too that maybe you can answer, because ESPN did this thing where they did like the greatest college hockey teams of all time, and they took the best players from every team and formed one line. And Ben Bishop was chosen as the goalie over Jimmy Howard. And other things that I saw rankings, Ben Bishop, they always had him over Jimmy Howard. But statistical wise, Jimmy Howard owns almost every stat and goal there in Maine. So, I mean, anything that Ben Bishop did that was so special there?
Yeah, I know he's younger than me too, so I'm not even sure about him. But I know, like, if we only had Mike Dunham or we only had Gar Snow and they got all the starts, I think they would have set all the records, right?
Right. Well, let's move on to Rollo.
Let's get a little bias going here. Mac, this was one of your teammates, Jim Montgomery from Montreal, Quebec. He played from 89 to 93. And he was named the All-Hockey East 3 times in his career, was chosen for the league's All-Decade team for the 90s. And he was also a finalist for the Hobie Baker Award in 93. But he would lose that opportunity to teammate Paul Correa. He is the Black Bears' all-time leading point scorer, all-time leader in assists, and 4th in goals. He is also still 4th all-time in points in college hockey history. And he was also the 2nd leading scorer on the Black Bears NCAA championship squad that went 42-1-2, which is one of the greatest hockey seasons of all time. All these accolades alone make him the best. But what actually pushes him to the next level is the Black Bears possibly don't have that first NCAA title with 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 him on the ice. They were trailing 4-2 against defending champion, national champ, Lake Superior State. He wound up getting the natty hattie, the natural hat trick, to help beat the Lakers 5-4 and win the Black Bears' first national championship. That's clutch. He was also voted to the University of Maine Sports Hall of Fame in 1998. Give it to him.
Dave, you played with him. Tell us about his game. Was he more than just a point getter? Was he a two-way player as well?
Yeah, well, he could do it all, and he was our leader. So, and he went on to lead. He's doing good with the Bruins now. So I just talked to him last night. They're coming to Philly. I live in Philly now, so they're coming to Philly on the 27th. So we're going planning the dinner on the 26th. But yeah, Jimmy can do it all. Like you said, he's the all-time leading scorer at Maine. And I think as far as all he's going to get my vote for best player ever at Maine for sure.
You played defense. How were his one-on-one skills?
Yeah, no, he was good. He was with that line was just unstoppable, right? So him, Korea, and Kellingraham, they all had almost 4 points. So it was pretty crazy.
Well, we're going to move on here to our final player tonight, and he's the only player that matters because he plays a real position. It's called defense, okay? Can't win without defense. So from 86 to 88, we got Eric Weinrich here. Went on to play over 1,000 games in the NHL, so he had a nice, long, solid career. But our only defenseman on the list tonight, born in Maine and stayed there to play in Maine. So props for, the hometown gig there. Played 83 games in his 3 seasons. He was the NCAA East second team All-American. He left his final year to play for Team USA, so he only actually got 8 games in that season, but he was very successful there with Team USA. While at Maine, he became part of the first 2 teams to make the NCAA tournament, so that was, I'm sure, pretty big and huge at the time for the university there. He averaged just under a point per game with 70 points, so not too bad, playing defense, and over 70 penalty minutes. So he also averaged a penalty a minute per game. And I mentioned that ESPN thing earlier where they did the greatest hockey starting lineups of all time, and Eric Weinrich was named as the defenseman for the University of Maine right beside Keith Carney as the top pairing there. So that says a lot about, what the media had thought of him while he was there. So, solid D-man with some scoring touch. And he's also in the Maine Sports Hall of Fame. So Weinrich, a little bit before your time. I don't know if you saw him play or not, but what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I played with his brother Jason at Maine there. So Eric, I would see in the summer times. I'd be working the camps, and he'd come back, and he was like the ultimate professional. You could see how much he worked out and how much he dedicated his life to hockey. And at Maine, I didn't really see him play as much, but I know after school he was a great pro.
Very successful career, and just getting the university to the NCAA championship, that makes your program better. I mean, was that something that maybe you saw and maybe helped determine where you were going to go?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think all the high recruits, that those guys set the foundation for the program, and so like when the Koreas and the Ferrara brothers come, and all the guys in my class, the program was already doing well, so you're not going to go to a team that's not doing well. So,
excellent.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's move. Good. Go ahead.
Eric, the lockout year, I was playing for the Danbury Trashers. I don't know if you heard about that team or know about them. But Eric was really close to coming to play for them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's move into our vote here tonight. Can't pick your own. Let's see, Kevin, who are you taking?
It was I was first leaning towards Brian's guy, but then when I look at the stats and everything, Montgomery only had 5 less goals and had 103 more assists. And Ryan, which doesn't own any records for the team at all, doesn't mean he wasn't a good player. Definitely a good, solid defenseman, but that's a lot more points for Jim Montgomery than Gene, so I'm gonna have to go with Jim Montgomery.
Rollo.
Well, the one record that Montgomery doesn't have at the University of Maine is the goals scored, and that belongs to Jean-Yves Roy. So, my vote's for him.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jimmy, Roloff's guy.
Yeah, for me, I always say goaltending wins championships, but the thing is Jim Montgomery does hold all the offensive records there, and I'm going to give it to him too because I go back to that ESPN list I talked about. They actually picked him as the best player in University of Maine history, so I'm going to go with him as well. Mac, who would you take?
Yeah, well, I don't know what ESPN, what poll you're talking about, but all the polls I see as the best college hockey team ever was that 92 team that we were on, and Jimmy was the leader of that team, which gives him my vote for sure.
Well, that's a win for Jim Montgomery, and just about that poll, they rank Maine as the 8th greatest college hockey team of all time when they put together the line that they would put together. So, but good job, guys. That's going to be a win for Rollo there. Let's move into our Q&A. We'll go Rollo, Kevin, Brian, me.
Mac, you won the school's first ever national title with an incredible record, 42-1-2. You had the one loss to, I believe, Boston, right? It was Boston University.
Boston University in overtime, yeah.
Yeah. What was that run like in the locker room as you guys started getting into the Frozen Four and then finally the national championship? What was the locker room like, and what was the vibe like?
Well, I think right when we started winning, I think we beat BU the third or fourth weekend. We swept them in BU, and then we knew we were good, right? So they started a documentary on us right away, knowing that we were going to be good. But we realized, I think, after beating BU, that we were going to be really good. And you can watch them video. I think it's called Out of the Woods. There's a video there. And yeah, it was a unbelievable run.
So I want to take you to 98, Calder Cup champions of Philadelphia Phantoms. Kind of run us through that season, what it was like to play in the AHL and win that title.
Well, Jimmy was on my team on that team as well. And then Jimmy played with me again a couple years later in Kentucky. So me and Jimmy we played like 8 years together. But the Calder Cup run in Philly was it was the second year of the team in Philly. Obviously they had the Flyers and we were their minor league team. And the fans didn't know any better. They thought we were like NHL players, and the Spectrum was sold out every game, and it was pretty crazy. It was fun.
Dave, the 2008-2009 season, it was very impressive for you as a coach. You led Danbury to a 30-18-2 record. How were you able to have success with them, and what was that group of guys like?
Yeah, that was my first year coaching. I think the success I had, I think a lot of success I have in coaching comes from Sean Walsh and the University of Maine. And I think that's what Jimmy's coaching that way now. I think a lot of Sean Walsh's points of emphasis, I guess, or I don't know, his coaching style carries over. And I think a lot of pro coaches, Greg Cronin's in Anaheim now. There's 1,000 coaches that came through the Sean Walsh era that use his philosophies, still coaching today's game.
So I got to ask you about just one of the greatest NHL players of all time that you played with there, Maine, Paul Kariya. What can you tell us about his college game? And did you guys know that he was going to become as great as he became?
I think you could see that his dedication was was second to none in college, and you could tell right away that he was going to be special. I didn't know if it would translate to pro as well as it did, but he what a career for sure.
Rollo, since you got the win, we'll give you one more question to finish this out.
Dave, you won the AHL title, and you also you as a coach led the national team to a bronze medal in the World Championships. Which feat stands out more to you if you were telling a story?
Um, I guess championships you respect more. I think like my main championship was great. We went to the finals 2 years after that in '95, and we didn't have a great team then. We had sanctions on us, and that was a pretty special year as well. But the Calder Cup was fun. We had our 25-year reunion this summer, so everyone came back, and that was when you win, you stick together and you remember the guys you win with. So I think winning championships is probably the best.
If you guys want to see more of Dave and some of his hockey career, go onto YouTube, search his name. You are going to find fight after fight with Dave. He put the Dukes up, man. You got to respect the guys who are backing up your team. So thank you so much for joining us, Dave.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. I remind everybody, hit that like, subscribe, notification button. We'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.